Hey, YouTube Gundam here. Welcome back to Space Engineers. Those that have seen my stuff know this ship quite well. This is the RWI Daedalus class battlecruiser, the Valiant. It has a small amount of Vulcan guns, a token array of Talion flat guns, a decent amount of dual 300mm guns, especially on the bottom of the ship, right back there. A handful of forward-firing fixed guns and a triple battleship cannon on the bottom front. And because the game decides screw you, this had to be upside down because it won't let me paste it in the other way. I was too busy to bother to actually manually flip the thing. The battle cruiser here, the Valiant, is a great combat ship that also carries a decent amount of fighters. But what happens when Redwood Industries wants to just kill everything? You need a battleship. So this is what I came up with. In EVE Online, this is the Naglfar class Dreadnought. But here it is the Tempest class battleship, since I've already taken Naglfar for my cruiser for the build competition. So, what does this thing pack? Well, first off, this is the top of the ship. That's important. This section here is top. This is where the ship's only hangar is. It's a small hangar, but should be able to fit a single Valkyrie. Maybe I didn't actually space it out. It might be a bit of a tight squeeze. Those doors could be pushed further if need be. I decided to intentionally limit it. But this is the top with a main bridge. Down here is the bottom bridge, much smaller, and it's meant for the forward railguns. 12 railguns, which for an Alpha Strike weapon, this is one of the highest damage dealing weapons in Space Engineers, including mods. Of course, you have the Atlas Super Laser, but that thing requires insane amounts of power. This does not. And there are 12 of them, so, those railguns are pretty nasty. Overall size, it is tall, but it's actually kind of big, too. It is taller than the Valiant is long, by not a lot. However, it's overall not too big in its size, because of this right here. I mean, you can see the Valiant from the front, and it's got a bit of a tall forward section. Then there's those flight pods. But this thing, and you're getting a little closer, it's clearly not that wide. And the main structure of the ship just isn't at all. But there are these large gun pods, which is that, and then I just copy-pasted it a bunch. What these things have, for most of them, is one of those triple battleship cannons on the outside, one of those 2X300s here. There are 14 Vulcans situated all around it. On the rear here, there's our 2X300mm. There are 4 Bofors guns, 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. There's a light to show which side of the ship you're on. Green for right, left for red for left. And then on one of them, on the bottom, there's actually a pair of Bofors on the inside, but not on the other 4. That's per side 4. The one on top is slightly sticking out a little bit further, I believe. So, yeah. So, critical features of the ship is just the overall. From the side, it is pretty big, but, you know what? You can go away. Look at it from the side here. Just look at all those guns. All that firepower just shooting at you. And there's so many big guns as well. If you are situating your ship over here, all 5 of those big battleship cannons can hit you. And the inside, some of these smaller guns can hit you. But because most ships are similar to maybe the Viminal Destroyer over here, or the Valiant, you're not going to be facing this thing from an angle like this to restrict some of the enemy weapons. You're going to be facing from an angle like this, meaning that upper gun there and the gun down there and the one there are also able to shoot at you, along with the Battleship Cannons. From the front is by far the worst, because all 10 of those dual 300s can hit. And if you're a wider ship, the 10 Battleship Cannons plus the Railguns can also give you a good smacking. Now, defensive-wise, this battleship is just absolutely insane. It has 64 Bofors total across the whole of the ship, and it has 164 of these Vulcan Gatling guns. I was thinking of the Telian flags, but I decided against it, and then I forgot. 12 railguns, 22 of the dual 300mm turrets, and 10 battleship guns. It's because of these right here. This is a pretty good feature of the ship in EVE Online, this large open void, which I threw in some engines just to help it out. Gave it a pretty significant amount of defensive firepower. Looking at the ship here, we have the upper sensor unit and some engines. The hangar here has a lot of firepower, mostly Vulcans, but some Bofors there. And here, and don't forget the side here, these 2 extra guns here do really help protect the rear of the ship, assuming you can get past these, which are pointing backwards. But a good important thing is this tucked away here, which is partially why it's so hidden. This dark area with a series of engines. And these hydrogen engines on the top there, but these hiding right in here is intentionally dark. There are no lights, just the engines. So, yeah. Just looking at those going down. The connectors for resupplying the ship are located down here on the rear unit to help give some extra cover. And noticing that it's covered with some extra Bofors is really good. Your shield generator is located right there. Because this ship is not separated with a single block but a dual block, that means certain things have to be lopsided. Then going all the way down here, there are a lot of the upper engines firing there and one tucked in there. Side and forward bottom engines here and bottom firing engines there. Some of the more forward engines there. No weapons beyond that point, but given how close it is, it's not a problem. And what's down here? The bottom sensors and communications, some bottom firing engines, some of them, and a small array of side firing engines with some extra protection here and there. So given how close it is to those weapons and how not that important it is, okay, but this is given all this extra firepower because it's not that close. There's also the hangar and the ship's main bridge. Also, the upper airlock is located there. The lower airlock is located... Where are you? There it is. Right here. So, yeah, that's pretty close to the ship's bridge there. If you saw the previous video, you know that a critical thing of the ship is this stairwell. There's this gargantuan stairwell that is running the height of the ship. A massive thing. It is separated into multiple sections. There's an airlock section and then 3 main sections by each airlock section. Well, internals. Why? So the way it goes is... you go away. The way it goes is you have the upper zone, which leads to the crew quarters and stuff up there. Then there's a large section down through here to about here. Then there's a small airlock zone for it. Then there's the central zone, which goes down through this to about here. Then there's another airlock zone and to get to the bottom down here. I'm going to show that now. So if you have vertigo, now would be a good time to look away. There are quite a few empty zones inside, like this right here. This zone doesn't have anything, so but down here is the bottom of the ship. There's your bottom airlock. Heading up through the bottom section, we have the blue here for the bridge. The green leads to a jump drive, which is repaired right there. It's located here with a void area. It's a pretty big void here. Located right in there. So one jump drive located right here by the green. Blue leads access to the bridge right there. It's bare bones bridge. And that's partially because I want you to customize this ship. Going up, you have the next airlock zone. Going up, we have a red zone, which is... I forget. Oh, this maintenance. Yeah, this is a maintenance zone, which does lead to reactors, cargo, and hydrogen storage. Massive amount of hydrogen tanks, massive amount of cargo. Not too many reactors intentionally to limit the shields, but there are a few. This is this massive section. Whoops, go away. This massive section out there. Shoe fly. Most of this is that zone in here. From the red door, that's maintenance. Next, I want yep, there we go. We have the green here, which I believe this is another jump drive. Going through here, we have some maintenance here. There it is, the jump drive located here, which is right inside there. So you have to aim for the top engines and towards the front of the ship instead of the back of the ship. But, you know, trying to get through all these engines will be a bit of an issue in order to get to that jump drive. And yes, this is just all gyroscopes. This is the one part of the ship you don't want to hit because it's just armor gyroscopes, which are tough. But there's a jump drive up here. But then there's not much else. It's just empty. So, you know. Back in here, going up. The other airlock unit, which heads to this. The green here for the other jump drive will be the rear of the ship. You have to head through here to this, a small void zones for customization work. And that is located right there. So if you can shoot about here, you'll hit the jump drive. But that's not a very easy target, and it's surrounded by guns and armor. So, yeah, plus it's on the back of the ship. An important target would, of course, be the shield generator, but good luck hitting that, even from a pretty good angle. It's a very small target, and it's not easy to reach. And, of course, there are guns everywhere. Now, back inside we go. Where are we? That was the green, so up to the blue. This large blue zone leads to the ship's main bridge and maintenance. Or, no, excuse me, the red there leads to the hangar. And let me spawn my character. I'll just walk through now. From the hangar, you can open it with that button there. Beacon saying what it is, of course. Yeah, I know. Some people say, don't have the beacon so good, but this is a battleship. If the enemy gets in here, they deserve to kill it. Open this door, and then you have the bridge. It's a double-decker bridge, because it's so big. Great view of the ship from a lot of this stuff. Walk down to this zone, which is, yes, it's lopsided again. It's a 2 wide instead of a 1 wide for the central line. Most ships are 1 line central wide. This is a 2 because it's so big. Double-decker bridge. We got to go up the ladder to reach the other zone. Oop. Here's the upper section of the bridge. Just this large thing here. That's a great view. So, yeah. I didn't actually do any of the console stuff. Well, I think it matters. There's nothing to it. But this is important ship information. That's a lot of Vulcans, but I want to kill fighters. So, it's pretty heavy at 90 million kilograms. Not that many blocks and very small in CPU, so it would be very CPU friendly. The Valiant, I believe, is 28,000 CPU or something like that. So this, now, going, where are we? From the airlock, which is out there, by the way, and this is a maintenance zone, right? This is the upper level. The maintenance and the airlock is through here. That's the top of this blue. That's why it's so big. Look at that. So, an important thing to note about this. The ship is intentionally equipped with a lot of stuff that is blank, and that's so you can customize it as you see fit. Partially, there were a ton of doors that were put in, and now they were removed, but the LCDs were kept in, so you can customize the ship. It'll take a while, of course. Now, if we slow my character, where am I? Yes. If we are heading up through this upper area, we head to the airlock, which then goes to this at the very top. I'll spawn my character and we'll get moving around. At the very top of the ship, we have some of the flashers that are outside. So that's here. We have kitchen, we have bathrooms. Then we have the crew quarters through here. All the doors are on a manual, so bear that in mind. The bathroom for the crew. We have the bottom section here. More bathrooms. We have kitchen. We have cryo. We have showers. We have medical. And then if you go up to the upper section through this door, we have the bedroom. I realize now I forgot lockers and other stuff, but there's so much void on this ship. It's meant to be customizable, but it's also meant to just be a viewing or cinematic. It's not really meant to be a close-in thing. So, yeah. Now for the all-important speed test. Oh boy. It doesn't have that many engines, and it weighs a ton. So, watch the speedometer in the bottom left. I'll also call it out. Going backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 meters per second. Full stop. All right. It takes, that's the issue with this ship, it's sluggish. Let's go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meters per second. And it's sluggish and stopping. Going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and stopping again. Rather sluggish, especially if you want to go to the sides. Let's go sideways now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I suppose it was technically better going up and or sideways than up and down. There's 10 that stop. Yeah, it is definitely better at going to the side than it is at going to the front, or going up and down. Excuse me. Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't. It's not like it has a lot of engines. It has 10 ion large, 2 hydrogen large, and then it has that array of small ones at the very bottom of the ship. But forward is where it has the most thrust. And it's still not a lot. Well, forward and rear, so it can stay out of trouble. Let's go forward. 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, and now I'm trying to stop, but... Ooh... It's trying to stop, but, I mean, most of its stopping engines are right there. That is one major flaw. Almost all of its stopping power is there, whereas some is this tiny bit down there. But its forward thrust is this tiny bit here. These bigger ones here, the smaller ones there. These here, followed by these here, and even a couple more here. And all these tucked way down in here. Don't forget those two. So it has a lot of forward thrust, and yet it's still a slowpoke. However, it is fast in maneuvering in other ways. The turning. Let's give that a go. You're going to love this. Wait for it, wait for it. Here we go. So, yeah, it is decent at that. Some will say it's a little much for this thing, and I could see you arguing that. Though it doesn't really do this very well until it gets going. But, well, you know, There she goes. Come on. Stop. It always stops on a dime because this game's engine is questionable. It is a little problematic to maneuver like that, so it's better to just stick with this. So, yeah. Trying to maneuver. Because the ship tries to orient around its center point, which is located around there, having the one bridge way up here and the other bridge down here can be a bit of an issue. Now, one point of this bridge is obviously the railguns. I mean, look at them there. But the other point is that it is a backup to in case the main bridge is taken out, given this is pretty well covered, and this is a great big please shoot me target. But with over 200 million shields, it's not going to be easy to crack. As for the ship, with the exception of the white in here, and the red paint line in the middle, and some other bits in the middle of this, but not behind it. Or yes, it is, even behind it. So, with the exception of this zone here, the entire ship on the outside is heavy armor. And some locations are 2 layers thick. There's even a couple of layers, areas that are 3 layers thick, heavy armor. So it'll be a nightmare to get through, unless the enemy can get in here. And that was done, and it's an intentional weakness. Trying to reduce the weight a little bit. Sure, right. So, that's the Tempest Battleship. I gotta make a fleet video in a bit, but I want to make another transport first. I have a cargo transport. Now I need a vehicle and infantry transport. I'll work on that later. But now the battleship is done. I am happy. Getting there. Once I do that one transport, then I'll make the whole of the fleet video and I'll be done. That's everything. Sorry this took a while, but it was an entire ship review of something I've been wanting to make a tower ship like this forever, and I finally have one that actually works and doesn't crash your computer. And because something like the Valiant, how much is the Valiant? 37. That's all right. Copy to clipboard. Come here. Now you saw the PCU and the blocks. This thing's... Do I have that backwards? Did I put it on backwards? Oh, now you decide to work? You jerk. Well, so while I'm here, I'll do this. Drop her down. We can really get a sense of the scale between these two. 114,000 and 37,000 blocks. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. 114,000 to 37,000. I do have it backwards, don't I? Yeah. So it's barely more PCU and barely more blocks. I do have that backwards. My bad. All right, double check that I got it backwards. Double checking. 114 to 37. 114,000 PCU or 37,000 blocks. Yep, I have it upside down. Whoops. 121,000 PCU and 38,000 blocks. I also call it CPU instead of PCU. Oh well. So I have this upside down, but 121,000 PCU and 38,000 blocks versus 114,000 and 37,000. So, you know, pretty close. This is how you can really get the comparison. Look at that. That tells you a lot from that angle. But from this angle, yeah. Well, at any rate, yeah. So it's barely more PCUN blocks than the Valiant, but it is just meant to do one thing because the Valiant's effectively a battle carrier. It has large hangars here, has a large internal hangar here with many, many docking ports per side, and then it has the other flight deck on the other side. So plus it's meant for a good amount of luxury, good amount of customization, good amount of everything nice. It was meant to be beautiful as well, so However, though this is good, it is meant to be a multi-role ship. That's the catch. The Valiant is meant to be a multi-role ship. The Tempest is just meant to kill. It's meant to be a brick a wall that just takes everything the enemy can throw at it and just kills them in return. That's the Tempest Battleship in a nutshell. So, yes, thank you all. I am out of here. I'll do my fleet video after I do my transport. See you.